What's up, Gunplum modelers? This is Strider Prime bringing you a new edition of Gundam Customs, and today I am now going to build the third mobile suit on my Bandai Open contest entry, and that will be the RGM 79C GM Type C Master Grade. This is, of course, from 0083 Stardust Memories. I've had this kit. This is a kit that I've been looking forward to build for a long time, and the reason why I'm saying that is that technically this was my first Master Grade. This kit came out in 2002, and when I discovered the Master Grade line, this was the first one I got, and then after that I got the Gundam 1.5 and then the Zaku. But this was my first one, and it was one of my favorite builds. I've always liked the design of this. Never got the GM. The GM Type C was actually one of my favorites, and I remember getting the 144 scale version of it, which was very simple and easy and very posable. This is a mobile suit that I've actually... I don't think there's a Type C version in... I'm sorry if I'm going to have to say this again. Battle Operations 2. There is a GM command, there's the flight type, there's a space type. No, there's no flight type. What am I saying? Space type, command type. But I don't think there's a Type C. I have to now double... Maybe I haven't, I don't remember using it. Regardless of the case, this was actually one of my favorite kits, and this one I got from Gundam Planet at a good deal, because I said to myself, I really got to build this guy and do it justice, because I built it and then I sold it. Not, of course, this was at a time where I wasn't painting anything, but now that I have this, I want to do it perfectly. Now, the one thing I've heard people say that it's a problematic mobile suit or model kit to build. I don't. I highly disagree, because with this you can really do a lot of cool work with it. The one thing that I liked about it is its weaponry. It's optional weaponry. You have two types of machine gun. Actually, you have three weaponry. You have this beam spray weapon that I don't actually remember from the anime, but I'll have to look it up. You have the standard bullpup magazine assault rifle, which is which is technically almost the same as the one that's on the colony type, but it's a more modified version. But this was a modular weapon where you can take it apart and turn it into this assault rifle type weaponry, which was really nice. It has you could customize it to have either the clip come from the top or from the bottom, and then of course you have two different barrels. Obviously I may want to go with this idea first, but I want to modify this gun and do a little customization on this one. I really do. This was a cool mobile suit when I built this, and I could do it again. Some great detail, of course. You have the inner frame detail there. Shield was very nice and bulky. Yeah, this is really nice. If it's done right, yeah. And I'm gonna do this right. I wanted to do something with this, like what I wanted to do with the GM. So when I did the colony type GM. Thinking of the plating armor over it. It was an interesting idea at the time, but I think I overstepped myself and maybe I was asking too much. I'm going to try to do something with that, maybe give it a little bit more armor on it, or some like plating over it where it's already welded in. I don't know. We'll have to flesh that out and see where we go with this. Definitely a different color scheme. And it's going to be the lead mobile suit of the three mobile suit team. So let me open it up and review the contents of this and see where we go with this kit. Okay, time to build an old favorite. That's really nice. Nice picture here. It's a shame that they didn't continue doing something like this on current master grades. Just only like the older master grades, you could get a nice little portrait picture like that. It's interesting. What was the last master grade that they do that had the last picture like that? I'll have to do a research on that one. Alright, so we have the armored parts here, the whitish, yellowish type, or tannish type. We get some screws there. We have the chest part, feet, shield, visor, some red, the only red parts here, yellow parts here, and there's the decals. Don't remember this. Where did that come from? Actually, I have the inner frame parts here, decals, polycaps. Some great detail there. There's the parts for the hands. There's the part of the weaponry. It's pretty cool. More armored parts. There's the head. There's the shield. Pilot. And then we have the inner frame parts. Beam saber effect. This oddly look familiar to me. Interesting. Alright, let's review the manual and see what we have to work with. Alright, the GM Type C. A very old kit. Great illustrations on there. We have the... It's actually showing, I believe, what, the placement of the decals on this page? Or is it color? Can't tell. Oh, it could be a description of the mobile suit, but I think it's the decals. No, it's the description, I'm sorry. Because here's the beam spray, the 90mm machine gun, and the regular GM rifle. And the GM rifle, I believe, is beam, not a machine gun. I'm not 100% sure about that. We have all the parts here, minus a few polycaps. And we'll definitely need a screwdriver for us to screw the legs in. Here is the assembly of the arms. Interestingly enough, there is no inner frame of the forearm. The part that goes up to the shoulder, there is an inner frame, but nothing on the arm itself. Interesting. Then we have the assembly. Wow, we went from arms on page 5 to legs on page 6. And there's some parts there. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is taking cue of the older GM kit. I don't know, I could be completely and utterly wrong. Good illustrations here of the head, the body unit, the arm. And we have, of course, what the kit looks like fully built and going up against other mobile suits. There's a Dom here, but don't think they ever made a master grade of that. That could be a high grade and they just superimposed it there. But this is really cool. Let's pose. And then here are the color tones. We have a darker blue, white or tan types, lighter blue, more like a gray, red, and yellow. Alright, then we have the leg finishing up, followed by the... Wow. So we went from leg to the torso assembly. This is how old this thing is. It went from leg, it went from arm to leg to torso, and then waist unit, then the head the backpack, and then assembling the legs to the waist unit, then building, wow, then building the weaponry, and then putting it all together. I think when back in the day when I built this, I didn't care what it was. I was like, oh wow, this looks cool, this is amazing. Alright, then of course you can take this weapon, take it apart, turn it into that, and then there's a nifty little storage thing that goes behind it if you want to store the weaponry. When this came out, I didn't realize that there was a red version, the space type version, and that one had a better gun, more like a assault rifle, how can I say, like a light machine gun type weaponry. And I've always wanted to pick that up, but I ended up buying this one, obviously because I was a favorite. This was one of my favorites. And here it is, what it looks like from behind. Quad thrusters here, no thrusters on the leg like the Nemo. Oh, but there's an ass thruster there. This is going to be interesting on how to customize this. I have to figure this out and plan this out ahead. Try to work it out here. Okay, so like I said in the last two mobile suits, I'm just going to flesh it out. I'm going to build it first. I'm not going to do painting yet. I haven't decided what to do yet. I have an idea, but when I finish all the kits and then we put it on the table and figure it out, then we're going to talk about the paints. Alright? So with that being said, let's begin building the GM Type C Master Grade. Type C, also known as the GM Kai. I think this is one of the most simplest mobile suits I remember from the 1 Year War series. Whoops. These screws. I remember building this. This was like my second Master Grade I built back in the day. When I first discovered the Master Grade line, I was deeply shocked at how unique the kits were at the time. I was so out of the game of Gundam models that I didn't know that these existed. And it wasn't until when I was at, what was this? When I went to Forbidden Planet in New York City, that they were selling these, or selling, you know, this type of kits. It was cool to see something like that. I remember the, you know, the Gundam, the Zaku 2, the Zaku 1. I think Gundam. I think at that time when I got it, I got the Zaku 2 FZ. No, not FZ. FS. I think the F version, which was from War in the Pocket. No, not War in the Pocket. Oh my God, I'm sorry. From 0083. Yeah. Oh wow, this brings back a lot of memories. Good detail here. And some of them, I see like this part looks like it's inherited to the Nemo that I just recently built a few days ago. The pistol and the beam rifle is in a lighter shade of blue. This is the tan color charcoal parts. Let's put that over here. And then we have the blue parts here. hand parts here. Alright. This is going to be very neat. You know, surprisingly, now I'm looking at this, this has fewer parts than what I built on the Nemo. Just realized that right now. Because here in the foot, in the Nemo, it had a front and a back step foot, you could say, or it can, you know, split into two. This one is one solid foot. I don't know how the articulation will be, because it's been a long time since I made this, but let's explore it together. Let's begin removing parts.